Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Steve's Wrestling Ramble. No intro music, nothing like that today. Kind of a serious topic, things going on in personal life. Just wanted to get right into business. First off, though, before getting into business and everything, welcome to the show. If you're new, thanks for stopping by for however long you stop by. I do have a chat feature enabled, so you're welcome to talk with us, me and my new co-host, tag team partner here on the show. I was solo act for a long time. Was looking for someone where I thought, looking for a connection to be able to work with somebody here on this show, along with my NFL show.
Hmm.
So now let me introduce the new co-host of Steve's Wrestling Ramble, Mark Rambo of Mark Rambo TV. How you doing this
What's
evening?
going on? Doing good, man. How are you?
Doing all right, doing all right. I guess first things first. I guess I'll let you before we get into business. Let people promote yourself. Where can they find you on the Twitter and your content on YouTube?
Okay, well, of course, on YouTube, my channel name is Mark Rambo, MarkRambo, and my is Mark_Rambo 39. Very simple. But for my Twitter, however, like I've always said in the podcast, very unusual, very different name is Looney Tunes 163. Um, Not going to get into details of why it's like that, but you can find me there. I'm always tweeting every day, or at least trying to. And from there, the NWO crew, Team Ramo's just going to keep getting bigger.
And also, congratulations to you, Mark. I did see your video on your channel for congratulating your fan base for getting to 1K, for you getting to 1K in your channel.
Uh,
Congratulations to you
Thank
for
you.
that. I know you joined our other crew member, Michael, of Raunchy Mikey, there in that category.
Hmm.
So I just want to give you a congratulations here on air here on your first night on this show. But
Thank
let's
you.
get into Clash of Champions review and overview. What I guess for just to ask you straight up, what were your overall impressions of Clash of Champions, and what do you think was to you the match of the night?
Well, personally, Clash of Champions did not come anywhere as close as it did for Backlash. I feel like at this point, SmackDown is completely destroying Raw when it comes to ratings, when it comes to viewership, and when it comes to overall appreciation and satisfaction. I think Raw has a lot of catching up to do, especially with the whole rumor swirling around that maybe they're going to purchase TNA, maybe they're going to buy out TNA. Um, and I think it's not going to be the same. I think it's SmackDown's turn now to have the spotlight and have the same glory as Raw did over the years. And I just I didn't like Clash of Champions as much as I liked the Backlash. So I would have to say my favorite match of the whole night would have to be Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens.
Okay. For me, I thought it was so-so. I didn't think it was going to do better than Backlash. I was already stating last week that Backlash was going to be greater than Clash of Champions, no matter however it ended with our different ways when we were predicting all three of us in that episode of
Uh,
the podcast. However that went, it wouldn't really matter that it still wouldn't be as great or as good as Backlash because Backlash was so phenomenal, so awesome, so good that
mm,
anything that Raw tried to do here on their exclusive pay-per-view, that it wouldn't match up, that it wouldn't be able to be superior to SmackDown
Definitely.
Live's pay-per-view. So I'm not saying it was terrible, it was just wasn't better than Backlash, I guess. My favorite match, or to me, match of the night actually was Cesaro and Sheamus, even with the
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
ended. The match itself was pretty good for a match that going into it, we've seen enough of. It was the ninth contest of them overall, at least, and well, for them, for Cesaro and Sheamus, not going into it not being interested in it, but the match that actually came upon and it happened there at the Clash was pretty dang good, and for me, definitely stole the show for
Mm,
the entire card. And that's saying something with the Raw Women's title, Roman Reigns, Rusev,
yeah.
and of course the main event with the WWE Universal title in that situation. I guess when I let you go where we want to go, is there a certain match you want to start off with discussing, or is there any other?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a little curious. I thought the women's division for Raw, I thought it was very, very disappointing. I feel like Charlotte kind of just dominated the match throughout the whole time that they were in the ring. I feel like it could have had a little bit more twists and turns. Maybe Dana Brooke would have done something against Charlotte. How did you think of that match?
I thought it was all right. I think it could have been better. I don't know if Sasha was still injured or what the situation there was, but I mean, they are three of the best women, not only on Raw's women's division, but on the women's division overall in WWE. To have those three there, and as we
Mm,
said going into it, too early for Bayley to be winning the Raw Women's Championship. But the
yeah,
match itself, I thought, was pretty good. Charlotte winning the way she did and successfully defending the title, and Bayley in the end too, I think was a nice touch as well, and Charlotte retaining and everything. So I guess in a way being right with the prediction, but just thinking that seeing where
uh,
things are going, how to go moving forward, because you never, I mean, like I said before, you don't want to have a title with the title, and I didn't think it was going to be smart if they wanted to put the belt back on Sasha Banks. So having Charlotte at least keep the belt, having it for a nice reign, so they decided to go with Charlotte at SummerSlam. So you stick with that person. You have Charlotte have a longer reign, whether it goes to Royal Rumble or however long WWE
mm,
plans to have it. At least
yeah,
go to then, and then maybe then it'll go to Sasha because that's where it's inevitably going to. But I just
yeah,
didn't think it was right to do it here at the Clash. So hold that off, and then you can start up a program to Sasha Banks and Bayley, which has been rumored for a while, for their program to go all the
uh,
way to WrestleMania 33. So that was my overall thoughts on there. What were your thoughts on the? I know you were talking about for you the best match of the night, but your thoughts on
um,
the Universal Championship match between Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins.
that was to me, like I said, it was definitely the highlight of the match or highlight of the pay-per-view. You know, the standing ovation from the from beginning of the match to the standing ovation that Seth Rollins had. Uh, if you watched it after the pay per view ended, it was on YouTube. Of course, they kind of had to cut that short. I don't think I saw it live. I don't recall it. So, but I saw it on YouTube on the WWE channel, and it was people. People enjoyed the match when they applaud for the loser, the person who lost. It was a good match when two sides were going back and forth and back and forth, and it was something that kept the crowd going. Where, to be honest with you, the crowd was not feeling it. The only two matches I believe people were really looking forward to was the women's division and the Universal Championship, and maybe the cruiserweight because it's new, it's just what's hot right now. But I just thought that that was an excellent match to end off with. I'm praying that Seth Rollins is okay because I love that guy. I love what he does in the ring. I love what he does outside the ring. How his character is. I definitely appreciate it. But I felt like that was a great match to watch. I enjoyed watching it personally. Um, but outstanding way to end Clash of Champions with Clash of Champions being a subpar pay per view, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But
Yeah.
then there's the other spectrum of it. The best match of the night. There also has to be, well, it doesn't have to be, but I guess in the scale, I guess there is a worst match of the night. Where would you go for, or for the matches, maybe in how the match went, storytelling, or maybe you just think it's the worst because of the finish. But which match on this card for W Clash of Champions you thought was the dud of the night?
Hmm. That's a really, really hard question. um, I thought maybe I'm, unfortunately I'm gonna have to go with the New Day. I just feel like we've seen that about 6 times. We've seen the New Day versus the club about 6 or 7 times, and it's like, are they gonna let them score? I mean, are they gonna let them win the belt? Are they just gonna let it keep going until WrestleMania and probably lose? I mean, I don't know. Originally I was gonna say the cruiserweight, but I'm gonna let the cruiserweight just get its time into the business because it's coming back after a long break, being in WWE. But I'm gonna have to go with the New Day. I like the New Day. I like the club. but we've seen that match about 6 times, and it's still entertaining. But just compared to the other matches, it was okay.
Right, and I would go there too, especially with the New Day successfully defending the titles. And I know I tweeted out to you, Michael, there saying that we might as well just have them be the champions to WrestleMania 33. Why the heck
Yeah.
not at this point? It's just the way it's going. And then they have what I was hoping they would have is a rematch on the Raw right after, the next night
Uh.
between the two. And I thought maybe, just maybe, the club can get it then. And obviously they didn't. So, the fact of that happening, and now Cesaro and Sheamus becoming a tag team and stuff like that, it's
Yeah.
making
I don't like that. I don't like that.
making that very, yeah. Let me know your thoughts there, because like I know we're jumping right away into Monday Night Raw, but that was one of the big things. What were they gonna do with this situation between Cesaro and Sheamus? I thought where it was gonna go was it was gonna have a seventh match, the Game 7 again, but have it at WWE Hell in the Cell, which is their next pay per view here in October. That they would have a one-on-one Hell in the Cell match, and I would say that actually warrants a Hell in the Cell match. Them having a brutal series and stuff like that, and especially how good the match was
Yeah.
actually at Clash of Champions, even with the way that it ended and everything. Um,
Mm,
that it would that I thought if it was gonna go there, then okay, then I was okay with what happened at Clash. But
yeah.
what had preceded what happened on Raw really didn't upset me, but it just confused me. Like why are we deciding now, or McFoley deciding now that okay, we're gonna put them in a tag team? Are we doing that because creative doesn't have any idea really where to put these two individually? Like did they actually
Hmm.
have a thought out plan of if or whatever of if someone won and what title that individual would
Exactly.
go after? So instead of doing that for Hell in the Cell and booking it and have one of them win and then go after a title, they just decided, what the title they're going to go for is a tag team. Maybe they saw how well they worked together
Yeah.
in the matches in the series or something. They thought, okay, we're going to change, scratch our original plans and stuff like that. So it just seemed like it was a knee jerk reaction in that way, at least to me. Unless if it was the plan all along, okay,
Hmm.
kudos to WWE, I guess. But to me, it didn't seem that way. To me, it seemed like a different, like it was like the original plan was for someone to win the series, and for me, I thought it was for Cesaro.
But they didn't.
Put him in a feud with Sheamus, someone that is a good worker, and they to build up Cesaro and
Yeah.
you know um, give him a push and have this 7 series and have him coming back 4-0 and winning it there at Clash of Champions. Having that kind of momentum and continuing on, and then having a U.S. title, let's say, because I don't think it would have been the world title or the Universal title.
Yeah.
But that's where I thought it was going. So, what were your thoughts on everything that happened between Cesaro and Sheamus after Clash of Champions?
I was a little disappointed, because I was expecting, like you said, either one person to win, but it turns out they were both counted out. It was a draw, I do believe, and they quote unquote could not finish the match, which Cesaro wanted to keep fighting. WWE didn't want that to happen. They have their own reasoning. I just think, like you, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said. The creative team probably, had a brain fart. You know, it's the way that they wanted that match to go. I just felt like they should have added a stipulation to the last match, make it a little bit more interesting. Um, I think they need somebody else on the creative team. Maybe I don't know. Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman. He's a great mind. He thinks very very differently. He has something that WWE I believe needs in the creative team. He from his amazing cut promos that he has with Brock Lesnar to the ECW. Actually, I should reverse it from ECW to the promo that he has for Brock Lesnar. I mean, he's a huge guy in the wrestling industry. And in my opinion, WWE needs somebody like Paul Heyman inside the creative team so they could spice things up, and especially for Raw, which is terrible in my opinion compared to SmackDown for the past couple of weeks. They should have had something to make the match more interesting, and then especially people have been seeing it week after week. How about you end the last match with a boom, not a draw? People were really, I could tell people were really mad about that. So I just felt like that was really disappointing. It was very uncalled for, to be honest with you, and it was kind of a waste of time for match 7.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I think it would have been better if they just would have went with the idea of maybe going Hell in a Cell match one on one. Just would have made
Yeah,
Well, just would have made more sense to try to finish that off. Actually, have a series, have a definitive winner. Especially if WWE likes to copy sports things so much, Game Sevens, someone has to win,
Mm,
sort of thing. Definitive winner kind of thing. So I thought that's the way they were going to go here in the storyline. But I guess going a different road, maybe uh, putting the Raw Tag Team titles on them. Maybe it might be for them to be transitional champions for a short time. But taking it off of New Day, and then maybe then the club will get the tag team titles. But instead of taking it from the New Day, they'll take it from Cesaro and Sheamus. I don't know. We'll see how things go with that moving forward. But
mm,
I mean, that's just it just seems like maybe that's the reason or feeling for WWE thinking of why they're did what they did there with Cesaro and Sheamus in that
yeah,
situation. Um,
definitely.
but is there anything or other things that you wanted to bring up from Monday Night Raw that evening that
Well,
stood out to you?
it's a lot of things I could talk about. How do you feel about Mick Foley so far as him being the general manager? You think he's doing a good job at it, or do you think he needs some more improvement? Because recently, ever since the new era started, they had about 2 good weeks of really good shows. However, SmackDown has been consistently rising week after week after week. Do you think it's a problem with Mick Foley and the scheduling and the matches he believes he has, or is it just the way the creative team is working?
I think for that one it's more creative. I mean, I know for the first promos where Mick Foley was doing with the new era and him stumbling and bumbling his lines or whatever that was on him. But I think
Yeah.
overall it's creative what they give him and what they have him doing. And then you have Stephanie McMahon being Stephanie McMahon, emasculating him last week on Raw and everything. So I think for me in this kind of situation, this a predetermined sport that I think for Big Foley, I think it's more of the creative side to me than it is actually him with his job. I think what I want
Hmm.
to see is less of Stephanie McMahon, maybe even a
Definitely.
little bit less of Mick Foley, because you see what SmackDown Live they had a whole show this week without either Daniel Bryan or Shane McMahon
Exactly. It was like a
showing up in
movie.
the show, and I finally realize it, an hour after it's over while I'm watching Talking Smack, that they weren't on there,
Yeah.
sort of thing, but um, yeah, that's then maybe they should take a page out of SmackDown Live. But then again, that could be the plan all along. That could be the plan by WWE, and even maybe by the creatives, creative teams or creative team to make SmackDown better, to make SmackDown great again, to make SmackDown what it used to
Hmm.
be, and maybe having SmackDown being the better show overall in the long run. See, going right out of the gate, Raw did better than SmackDown Live for the very first episode after the draft because Sasha Banks won the Raw Women's Championship, and Finn Balor beats Roman Reigns in the main event clean to face Seth Rollins to become the inaugural Universal Champion at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But from there, I think overall, or the long-term plan of SmackDown Live is to be better. So in this way, and how things are being booked and how things are going, especially with Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon, that it is for that purpose for SmackDown Live to be the new A show, to be um, maybe even the new flagship show, whatever. Um,
Hmm.
even though Raw will always be the flagship show because they are 3 hours and they're the mainstay, but SmackDown
Yeah.
Live to be better and now being live and having their stories and actually progressing correctly and stuff like that in their storylines, doing things that make most sense in that way to me, just making me feel that that is the overall plan. So to answer your question, I don't think it's really on Mick. I think it's more on the creative. I think he's doing all right. Um,
Hmm.
and he still has his moments with his lines, but that I guess can happen to anybody. So I guess I could probably give it more to the creative side of being the
Creative
EC
team.
than Mick Foley himself on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, what I believe is that they have 3 hours. They have 3 hours to build up on next week's show, and I believe past couple of weeks they haven't been doing a very great of a job to, you know, build that questioning that what's going to happen next week on Raw. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I feel like it's something. It's just like, oh, next week Raw comes on. It's just, what do you expect now? I think what they should have is they should have like a cliffhanger of some sort. Last week or a couple weeks ago, Mick Foley came out in a dress. I think it was Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Um, and said, next week on Raw, we're going to have this and this as the main event, it's wanting people to watch that episode to see what happens. I feel like they're lacking on that. I feel like they need something that could gather the crowd's information, gather the crowd's audience, like gather them together and like, oh, I can't wait to see this. I feel like SmackDown's been doing a better job. They've been having the better storylines, the better segments. They even have talking smack. It feels like they're on the road to do 100 times better than Raw. And I could see before WrestleMania them having 2 times as more viewers than Raw does, because I see Raw just they're not going anywhere. SmackDown is on the highway to heaven, and I don't see anything stopping them. It's just they, Smack Raw needs to catch up. Raw needs to catch up big time.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't really see how that's going to be happening, especially in the ratings. If you think about it, this week's Raw
Yeah,
had to go up against the first presidential debate of,
yeah,
that being almost a fight within itself. But between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and then you have Monday Night Football as well.
yeah,
You're going up against the mighty NFL, the the king of sports there, the NFL, and then against a debate against in the 2016 election that is in its own way like a wrestling match. So I didn't think they really had much chance to do well in the ratings in that way. And then comparative with SmackDown Live, as we already were talking about ad
hmm
nauseum, about how they're doing and how they're better and everything, and how overall it looks like they're going to be the number one show.
yeah,
But now moving forward already, all going against Monday Night Raw or Monday Night Football each and every week,
yeah,
it's gonna be hard to sell, and no matter how they try to do it. And I think if they do try to have more, as you were saying, cliffhangers, I agree with that point, 100%. Because if they do that more often, then it'll actually gravitate more people to at least watch the beginning, and hopefully then WWE creator can do something with that beginning, with getting those people there for that moment or for that first match or whatever was going to happen,
yeah,
segment, promo,
definitely.
match, whatever, that then they can keep them in and hopefully have them for the rest of the show, sort of thing. So it's not just getting them there for that first segment. You also have to do something there or put something there that hopefully keeps them continuously.
Yeah,
That's not a easy thing to it's easy to say, hard to do, but they're the professionals. They know what they're doing. I think they should be able to do that. So hopefully, Raw can improve and make it a fight between them and SmackDown Live. Because right now it doesn't seem like a true fight. It seems like SmackDown
yeah,
Live is
definitely.
just superior in every way. Um, but you did say there was many things that you could talk about. What are some other things here before I move on to talking about SmackDown Live?
Well, I'm gonna keep going as kind of like continuing the conversation we just had. Raw for years now has been trying to compete with Monday Night Football. For years now, they've been having issues with viewerships and ratings. I mean, not for years, but they have issues with viewerships and ratings compared to Monday Night Football. Don't you think, after years and years of going through that, don't you think they should be prepared for stuff like this? I feel like if you knew that you had to go against this, why you keep letting it happen? At least try to have something. At least try to do something that could maybe possibly compete with Monday Night Football. Like I said, it's very unlikely to compete with Monday Night Football because Monday Night Football is huge. Just football in general is huge. I feel sad if they were on Sundays every week because it's just no way they're gonna get any viewerships. Um, it's a little sad coming from a wrestling fan that Raw has to go through this. But in the near future, hearing about Raw, hearing about SmackDown, hearing about TNA that that WWE is possibly buying out, possibly purchasing. How do you feel if that actually is true? How do you feel? Well, what do you feel will happen to Raw and or SmackDown if they decide to have like an invasion? Do you think that would help?
I don't know if it'll help, and I don't see that actually happen. Because in my mind, I mean, not like I have any sources or people in the business, but just my intuition is telling me that I don't think or Vince McMahon will buy TNA. Not saying that he couldn't. He has the money to do so, obviously. I just don't
Mm,
see it actually happening. I do see him putting in bids. I think he already did. But I think he's just testing the water to see how much TNA wants to sell it for, and
yeah,
then the bargaining goes back and forth, and if they get to a plateau range where they say, okay, we're not taking any more than that, Vince is like, no, that's too rich, even too rich for my blood. I don't
mm,
want it that badly because if anything, Vince wants TNA for their library more than really their
yeah,
talent.
yeah.
Um, even though some of their talent are former WWE superstars, but anyways,
Bobby Lashley.
but even that, I think he wants the library more than that because he has a ton of TNA superstars. Excuse me, Samoa Joe, Eric Young, the WWE World Champion, AJ Styles,
Bobby Roode.
yeah, Bobby Roode, Mr. Glorious himself, Bobby Roode, and they have all those.
Glorious.
Yes, I do love that theme song though. But anyways, they have all those now WWE superstars that they want to do video packages or stuff like that. They can actually use their TNA footage and actually have that. So I think that would be the main thing motivating Vince McMahon to buy TNA. It probably is right now. But
Yeah,
even with that, I don't think it's motivating him to the point that he's actually going to overpay for TNA to get
yeah,
his hands on that. I don't see that happening, in my opinion. That he would overpay and actually go to wherever TNA is meeting. Because if you think on a TNA side and they get to an offer, while conversing with Vince McMahon and everything, and they get a
mm,
feel and see, okay, Vince doesn't want to go over, let's say 3 million, 3 billion, or whatever it is. So they put it as steep at a six,
yeah,
and they're just doing that to test out will Vince want to go that high or whatever to battle the other investors because there's other people including Billy Corgan himself that may want to buy TNA. That will he bite? Will he actually? Is he really that interested? Kind of feeling it out his actual interest levels. That's kind of how that works in negotiation tactics. So um, and in that way, in that form, I think that, like I said, I don't think he's going to overpay in his mind. What would overpaying be? But I don't see him doing that just to get to the library. I mean, it's important to him, and he would
mm,
want that. That's why he really wants anything, or any other company. To be quite honest, if other companies were for sale, even if God forbid, New Japan Pro Wrestling ever was for sale, it's for the
yeah,
videotape. It's the only reason Vince wants it to have it all for his network to get more people to the network, which does make sense. I'm not saying that's wrong. It's a good, business sense of thinking,
mm,
but um, again, I don't see that. Now, if it did happen, um, and having an Invasion Angle, I could actually enjoy that, but I think I would enjoy that more if the brands weren't split. Having them split and you have SmackDown and Raw,
yeah,
I think it
yeah,
just makes it harder and harder to do some kind of Invasion Angle like they did back in the past, where you had WWE versus WCW/ECW.
mm,
Here, it would have to be like if they all came together, SmackDown and Raw together as WWE versus TNA. Then that
mm,
could work if they're working cohesively between Raw and SmackDown to go after a common enemy of TNA in an invasion angle that way. And maybe hopefully WWE will learn their mistakes in booking an invasion angle and actually do it better than they did originally, at least in my opinion. Do it
yeah,
better than they did originally with WCW. So first, no, I don't see it happening. And if it does happen, I don't even see them doing the invasion angle. And I don't even see many um, talent contracts being picked up by Vince McMahon
yeah,
from TNA. Maybe a couple, cherry pick a couples
yeah,
of TNA wrestlers, but not too many to be quite honest, in my opinion. And as regards to the NFL against Monday Night Football, sometimes, or at least to my opinion, it seems like NFL, or I mean WWE and Vince just want to coast here through this time because they know they're
yeah,
not going to do well in the ratings on Raw, so they give us what some fans call a shit show, or not as good, not as well as they could. Because when you see creative on their game, they're on their game. Like for some Raws and some
yeah,
episodes that they can do, they show that they actually have talent. Why they're getting paid the money they are getting paid.
uh-huh,
But it seems like I don't know how really to explain it to for most to understand. But I think just to say that it seems like they look forward to this time of year so they don't have to put in 100%. It
yes,
just seems that way.
definitely,
Um,
definitely,
not saying that they don't have work ethic. I'm not staying stating here to the world that WWE Creative doesn't have work ethic. They do, but I'm just saying it seems like at least at this point in time, and this time of year, each and every year, if you really do your homework and research, that when we get to this point with the NFL season here and the Monday Night Footballs and going up against it, they're just being complacent. and they don't
Yeah,
care. And why not? You
yeah.
know, you're still gonna get eyeballs to the WWE. You have your hardcore fans, our hardcore fans that are always to stay there. People like us that do
Hmm.
podcasts or talk about it on YouTube or other mediums, whether it's podcasting online, YouTube, however, you know, you're talking WWE, so you're watching it, Raw and SmackDown, you'll watch a lot of content, NXT, you know, as much as maybe even more than you really should, but so they always will have those people, they always will have us,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that they can in a way really get away with anything because we're still going to be watching. Whether we complain more or less, it depends on how the episodes are, of course. But to them, it doesn't really matter because any person's good press, people are still getting eyeballs to Raw, and as long as their ratings do above what their expectations are for this time of year, then it's all good for WWE.
Definitely. I couldn't agree with you any more on that one. You know, it's. I think, like you said, I after thinking about it, I think they've gotten used to with the Monday Night Football ratings and how they have to compete with it, and they actually enjoy it because they don't have to work as hard as they should to deliver the product each and every week. But when those 16 weeks are up and Super Bowl's over, it's go time. You can't slack off because people are going to be watching that. The football is over. There's a new season for sports, but it's not going to be anywhere close to football. And football is the most competitive thing they had when it came to ratings, in my opinion, since WCW, since the Monday Night Wars, and it's it's uh it's just something they're gonna have to deal with. It's just something they have to go and deal with.
And I think they also like it because as you were talking, it made me think. 16. You have the 16 weeks, 17 weeks, and you playoffs, Super Bowl in February. And by the time
Right.
you're done with February, we're already on the road to WrestleMania. So by
Yeah.
WrestleMania or by WWE Royal Rumble time, the Royal Rumble to Mania, then creative and WWE, have their heads on straight and actually paying attention to everything and know what the hell they're doing, and they put
Mm,
out a good product for both Raw and SmackDown, not just for SmackDown Live. So however, can Raw improve? Obviously, it can. Hopefully, it will. But as of right now, it just seems like it seems like their creative team is placed and just putting out there what they feel could be best. I mean, not saying it's not a good thing that next week on Raw we're gonna have a Raw Women's Title match,
mm,
but that's only going to do so much. You gotta have
yeah.
other things as well to keep the viewers there. Now, in the same light, you're not gonna appease appease everybody, but you still have to get to a point and have a booking of a show that will appease most of your
Mm,
audience, of your target audience in general. That's the point of a
definitely.
show. So whether a new show or a long-lasting show like Monday Night Raw. So hopefully we can get their act together, but maybe it'll have to be until we get into the late part of winter, part of the play, get into the
Mm,
playoffs of NFL and stuff like that they're when WWE can be on their game again because they're part of that big part of their season with the Royal Rumble, with WrestleMania coming up and everything. That's usually obviously when they shine, and then even the night after WrestleMania being usually the best show of Monday Night Raw throughout the whole year. The Raw to WrestleMania, with people debuting from NXT or returns. At Royal Rumble, I can think of like maybe 4 to 5 superstars from the past that might return as special entrants in the Royal Rumble, and I look forward to it if all of the ones I'm thinking of do. So
definitely.
you have that time and really when you need to be on your game, and maybe that's why they're complacent because they're waiting to get to that point, waiting to get to slowly building to those moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they don't want to give everything away now, so
Yeah.
you might as well just
Maybe they're
put out what
building
we
it
can put
up.
out. What was that?
Maybe they're building it up to the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, well, definitely for
Definitely.
sure.
Definitely.
Any last tidbits you want to throw up from Raw?
Oh, definitely not. Let's go straight to SmackDown.
All right, let's do so. Let's go to the new A show of WWE SmackDown Live. Um, as we talked about, obviously SmackDown Live it just seems like they're especially with the storylines and specifically Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt storyline,
Yes.
continuing from the start, middle, end, or even just continuously through the show in general is what I mean. Um, with that storyline, and specifically to the show, the mind games between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. What are your thoughts on that overall from start to finish of SmackDown Live on Tuesday night?
Well, like I said, SmackDown was basically like a movie. Um, it had like the whole predator prey thing was really, really, really interested from that. Just the way SmackDown was thinking, I was a little lost because I'm not used to it.
Hmm.
But I think they were building up on the No Mercy match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, which I'm personally excited to see. I feel like No Mercy is going to be another excellent pay per view. Uh, Talking about No Mercy, I'm ready to see the Dolph Ziggler and Miz match. That one's going to be incredible. Um, but I'm going to get back on topic with the Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt situation. Uh,
Hmm.
it's it's very, 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 very fulfilling to me as a fan. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do to build up the No Mercy match. They already have a 2 hour movie trailer or 2 hour movie. Um, looks very like it looks very similar to Saw if you've seen that movie. Just the whole background, the whole situation was going on. It was very interesting, like a little horror movie. Um, and I just want to see what they have planned for being the creative team. I want to see what they're going to do with these comments in No Mercy, and I want to see what they're going to do at No Mercy. So it was good. I feel like they're definitely you know satisfying fans more than Raw's satisfying fans.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, it actually gets me interested in this Bray Wyatt match with Randy Orton
Yeah.
because, to me, not being the biggest fan of Berets and everything, and
Mm.
saying with his stick and all his promos being the same, and for me, tuning him out almost like Dolph Ziggler and his impassioned promos getting old to me because in the
It
end,
was
the end result
excellent
is
to me.
him losing at a pay per view. So
Mm.
that's just why I got to that conclusion in my own mind for Bray Wyatt and uh, for Ziggler. But specifically for Wyatt and how this actually went about, say like 2 hour movie, the situation between Wyatt and Orton, it actually got me interested in the match and actually made me think maybe Wyatt could actually win, even though we hold our predictions until next week. Well, until do we get to do we get to when we get to No Mercy, which I'm really looking forward to. I think from top to bottom, that card can be awesome, can be very good, and I think again another month, SmackDown Live can beat Monday Night Raw with pay-per-views with No Mercy against Hell in the Cell. Which is saying something because I always do enjoy Hell in the Cell matches, but this is
Mm.
a new era. This is no longer the Attitude Era. They barely use Hell in the Cell or the actual cell itself in Hell in the Cell
Yeah.
matches, so it doesn't get me all interested as it used to be when you hear there's going to
Definitely.
be a Hell in the Cell match because if anything, the most they do is throw the opponent into the cell, maybe 2, 3 times at max. Not
Yeah.
there's no spots on top of the cell, nothing really to be quite honest. Well, I guess maybe you can technically say they did that at WrestleMania with Shane McMahon,
Yeah.
but from beyond that and from their actual um, full-time talent, they haven't done anything like that in years, in a very long time. So I'm definitely looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view. But something that I wanted to bring up to you, and that's the women's division here on SmackDown Live, and how everything seems like um, going, and especially with the women's or SmackDown Women's title.
Mm-hmm.
Becky Lynch going to be facing Alexa Bliss. The situation between
It's
Carmella,
gonna be lit.
and Nikki Bella. What are your thoughts overall on the women's division and how those matches, we could have more than one, will be at WWE No Mercy?
I'm excited for it. It's the same way I'm excited for the Raw Women's Division. I'm excited for the SmackDown Women's Division because originally they were all put together in one group. Now they're separated into two different brands. The brand split. They got to do their own thing. You go through a new crowd. Have their own new gimmick, their new character. And Nikki Bella, of course, it's gonna always be Nikki Bella. But Alexa Bliss, who would have ever thought Alexa Bliss would have been in this position? You have Carmella, you have Nikki Bella. I was surprised Nikki Bella never got a title shot. I'm surprised Nikki Bella. I mean, I'm surprised Alexa Bliss got a title shot before Nikki Bella did because everybody was like, "Oh, okay, Nikki Bella or Becky Lynch are going to be the next women's championship champions for SmackDown." And now you have Becky Lynch, of course. People were kind of expecting that going against, of all people, Alexa Bliss. I'm not knocking Alexa Bliss off. I'm just a little surprised that they picked her of all people. I'm a little interested. I'm a little interested to see what she would do because everybody's not expecting it. They're expecting Nikki Bella to be wrestling right now, or at least Carmella. I would also wouldn't be surprised if they had Carmella versus Nikki Bella and No Mercy. They had that feud going on. Started when Carmella started attacking Nikki Bella on Talking Smack, and before that match, I feel like they're heading in the right direction. Just keep doing what they're doing, and they're going to be up there in the same spotlight as the Raw Women's Division. So far the women's division, period, for WWE is excellent compared to when it was like 2000, I don't know, 10 or 2009 or 8, where it was bikini matches, so to speak, or maybe too far back, far forward. Maybe like 2006, 7, where they had bikini matches. I didn't like those, but now is their time to shine. They got to do what they got to do, and they got to do it.
Yeah, and I definitely enjoyed the women's division overall since the Divas Revolution, now the Women's
Hmm.
Evolution, and everything, and how that's going. But specifically to SmackDown Live, I didn't really have high expectations going into it after the brand split and the draft because of how
Hmm.
stacked Raw's women's division was with the superstars drafted over there, which makes sense because Raw being the flagship, you want to have your best, the best of the best, I guess, especially in
Yeah,
that division, not over there, which is okay. You have Sasha Bailey, Charlotte, and others over there. I kind of would like to actually see like a Summer Rae. Let's say Summer Rae, something that I've been a fan of for a while. Would actually have her over on SmackDown Live. Maybe you actually give her
hmm,
maybe even a character change a little bit.
yeah, definitely. She
Maybe even
deserves it.
change and and get a chance to shine there on SmackDown Live. I think she would thrive over there
Hmm.
if given the opportunity. Maybe have her Raw contract, quote unquote, ending and going over to SmackDown Live, book it that way,
Hmm.
just like they did for Jack Swagger, who's now on SmackDown
Yeah,
Live. So it'd be nice to have her over there added to the SmackDown Live women's division. But I think this women's division on SmackDown Live is getting stronger, getting better, and you have
definitely.
Becky Lynch as our champion. I don't think Alexa's going to be winning it at the pay per view, but it's good for its opponent. And it's good for Alexa Bliss, really, if you think about it. And her being called up to the main roster in the draft, obviously being drafted, and coming to SmackDown Live and being the first first number one contender for the
Yeah,
brand's women's championship. I mean, I was saying so they say the same thing if it was Carmella, someone else who I have enjoyed since she's been on the main roster and everything herself. So I even enjoyed her, in NXT with Enzo and Cass. But now
I
on her
loved it.
own, doing her own thing, being English, I really enjoyed seeing where that will go, and in the end, I'm sure she'll be getting over Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella putting her over, which is good. Nikki Bella being like the Chris Jericho in the women's division, putting over
Yeah,
the younger talent. Um, then those quote unquote those haters out there of the Bella twins, just as much as haters for John Cena, this one in a different light that maybe you'd be okay with her being back because she's actually putting over
mm,
your favorite superstar, whether it's Carmella now, maybe Alexa Bliss, maybe who, maybe that, you never know, but she's not here to just be the champion and put a stranglehold on the SmackDown Live Women's Division and be the champion forever, sort of thing.
yeah,
She gets the bigger picture, in reality backstage. She wants the younger talent to thrive and succeed. She wants this division to be great for them
definitely.
and because she was a major part of it, So in reality, that's what the Bella twins, both of them, want, and specifically with Nikki Bella being back, I'm sure that's what she's championing for behind the scenes for talents like Carmella and others to get over, and she actually requesting to be the one to do that job. So like I said, I
Mm,
equate her to like Chris Jericho, for the men's division, being that talent, that superstar. Um, to be putting over the younger talent, I think that's not only best for business, but it shows their true self in Jericho and Nikki Bella. and how they actually view the business that they are part of. And I love it. I love it for both of them. It makes me respect them
Definitely.
both even more.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I feel like they're on the pathway of doing great things on SmackDown. I have a feeling what they're doing now, they could lead on to the future, and they could have great success in the women's division. They just need a little bit more women's wrestlers. They need to call up some more people on NXT and bring them to Raw and SmackDown because I feel like the women's division is very limited. And in my opinion, if you happen to watch NXT, do you watch NXT?
Yes.
I think Amber Moon or Amber Moon. I don't know how to say her name,
Hmm.
but it starts with an E. She will, she would look better more on SmackDown. I feel like her persona, her character, what she could do into the ring, will definitely give Becky Lynch or Nikki Bella or Carmella some challenges. And I feel like what she could do in the ring will bring excitement to the crowd. More people are more interested to see that with the people who are already on the women's revolution whole bandwagon idea thing. Cause I'm with it. I agree with it. I'm happy for the women. I want them to do great because I love watching the matches. I feel like they just need more women in each of the brands roster to do better things. I feel like you can't have the same people over and over and over again. Like Raw, I feel like Raw, it's more so surrounded by three-quarters of the four horsewomen.
Hmm.
Bailey, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte. You see, that's about it. And then you have Becky Lynch. Was it now Alexa Bliss and was it Carmella? I feel like SmackDown now involving more people, but Raw it's just surrounded by three people. No one else really cares about the other women wrestlers, which is unfortunate, but that's kind of how it is. And they just need more women on the roster, and from there you could do whatever you want to do. I just feel like they're very limited when it comes to this.
No, I agree 100% because I think that's what they definitely need to do, especially on Monday Night Raw. You have more
Yeah.
women over there because you're the 3 hour show. You're the flagship, right? So you have the quote unquote better talent over there. You should
Mm-hmm.
use some of those other women in other storylines like they are doing on SmackDown Live. Better yourself in
Mm-hmm.
that way. And then if you have more feuds and actually have people of the WWE universe care, they'll care more about the women's division for Raw. I mean, yes, we care about the women's division overall because they're awesome and they're doing great things, but specifically with the brands, right now we have SmackDown Live having more than one feud and us getting interested in more than one thing having to
Mm-hmm.
do with the women's division over there in SmackDown Live, where comparatively on Monday Night Raw, their women's division, as you said, of course, with the four
Mm-hmm.
horsewomen being the main thing, which makes sense, but you also have to have sub chapters as well, other feuds going on to get the people interested, to keep people staying. Another reason, another way, maybe, making an audience to be staying on Raw because the episodes haven't been the best. So,
Yes.
definitely would help their case and help their cause there on Raw to have more feuds or show more feuds with other talent that they have. That's why it would have been a terrible thing, just a terrible thing if Paige actually did quit and leave WWE. You
Yeah.
know, as stacked as the Raw women's roster technically is, you're losing a talent like Paige, as young as she is, how she can go, and still we don't know how much longer she will stay. You never know; she might try to
Yeah.
still get out of her contract. But as is now, she's back and traveling at least with the Raw brand.
Yeah.
That if they did
Definitely.
lose her, if WWE lost her overall, that would be a big blow for the
Mm-hmm.
women's division, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Even it goes back from when Paige was in NXT. They had wrestling matches with Emma. You could also include her for being a part of the women's revolution. They had excellent matches in NXT from when they first started. Paige, Emma, Summer Rae, Charlotte, and Talia. They all had great matches on NXT. But I see with the four horsewomen, I see what they did, and what they did was great. Don't get me wrong. But there are some people in NXT who definitely deserve some credit too, and one of them is Paige. Paige first being the youngest Divas champion at the time, it's great things that she's done. And to lose her, like you said, is a major loss for the women's division of Raw, which gives SmackDown a plus because they don't have to worry about the Raw brand, so to speak, taking over or having a better division than them.
Yeah, and I know you were talking about Amber Moon for SmackDown Live, and then I was thinking, well, then Raw needs somebody, and I would put, after she dropped the title, of course, Asuka on Raw,
Yes.
battling for the Raw's Women's title
Whew.
and challenging the likes of Sasha Banks or Paige, whoever, or I mean not
Uh,
Paige, Sasha Banks and Charlotte, well, the Raw Women's Champion. Also, you have Nia
yeah,
Jax over there on Raw.
that
Uh,
would be
have Asuka versus
amazing.
Nia Jax for a number one contendership match for the Raw Women's Championship. So that would be interesting, at least to me it would be. So that's where I have Asuka on Raw, Amber Moon, SmackDown Live.
Definitely. Definitely. Oscar on Raw would change the whole platform of the women's division on Raw. I feel like she's gonna put the whole division on notice. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty if Oscar actually goes to Raw.
Hmm.
And for if she were to go on SmackDown, just give her the championship now. She Becky. I love Becky Lynch so much. I love her. I love what she does in the ring. But those kicks Oscar gives you
I know, damn.
are just whew, it's just too much. It's too much. It's way too much.
Moving on from the women's division, and specifically, we were talking about the SmackDown Live women's division, as we're talking about SmackDown Live from Tuesday night. The Miz's Cleveland homecoming celebration, and how
Amazing
that
promo.
led into a WWE No Mercy announcement with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler was giving his passionate promo as he usually does, and I was starting to not care going away. Actually, I was going to getting myself something to drink. I was kind of listening in the background, and then when I heard him say that he put his career on the line, I kind of turned my head like how Miz did, or like, did you say what I thought you said? Like, did I hear that
Yeah,
correctly?
exactly.
Was my is my hearing off or something? I mean, I'm 28. I think I can hear well, so uh, I thought I heard that correct. So that was shocking. And I know in reality his contract is coming up. We really don't know what's going to happen when we get to No Mercy and if he will stay or go. From my unless he's really, he is really good at what he does with promos, so
Hmm.
he could be pulling the wool over my eye and really get me there, as a mark and or whatever. But with his nonverbals and his, he's gulping and everything, and clearing his throat and all that other stuff that I noticed, besides what he was saying in his promo, it made it
Hmm.
really seem real and connected to with me and made me think, oh, really, this could be the end. Because I really don't see the Miz losing the title anytime soon. Coming off
Yeah.
what happened on Talking Smack between him and Daniel Bryan, is that actually going to go somewhere? Maybe not a match, but it still has to go somewhere, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan doing something to him or whatever, stripping him of the title or having him put in crazy ass matches. I don't know. However, you have to continue that, so I don't see him drop the title for that reason. Plus,
Hmm.
him and his wife Maurice are doing well
She's
as
so
heels as
beautiful.
they are anyways. So I don't see Dolph getting the title,
Yeah.
meaning that maybe it is legit real and a possibility that he's going to be leaving WWE, and that kind of sucks, because Dolph is a
Definitely.
great talent, but then again, their creative team has to really use him well, and if they're not going to treat him the way that he feels he's deserved and put him in spots that he thinks that he should be in, then why not be there anymore? Wade Barrett left,
Hmm.
Cody Rhodes left kind of for the same reason of that situation and issues with creative and not being where they should have promised things that never happened
Hmm.
for their situations. Whether it's different or the same for Dolph Ziggler, we'll see how that goes. What were your thoughts when you were watching that live during SmackDown Live and hearing that bomb drop?
You know, I remember watching that, and I knew in the way Dolph Ziggler came out, it was going to be another match. But the way he delivered that promo, the way he, expressed himself, I knew he was very, very, very serious about this. You could tell the way he was because he looked like he had tears coming out of his eyes. He was very, very emotional when he was saying that. I was in complete shock when he said he'll put his career on the line. I was like, okay, is he serious? Because to be honest with you, he's more of the modern day Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. Just the way he does things in the shines, those kicks that he has reminds me of Shawn Michaels. His whole attire has changed. He reminds me of Shawn Michaels in a way. I'm not saying he looks like he is Shawn Michaels, because obviously he's not Shawn Michaels. But
Right.
it's just the way he carries himself, the way he does things, his entrance, the way he does his entrance is very similar to Shawn Michaels, the very, I guess you say, cocky, flamboyant-ish type feel. Um, the promo was amazing. I'm praying that Dolph Ziggler wins. If he does not win, I'm gonna be very sad because his career is over. I'm rooting for Dolph Ziggler. I like the Miz. The only reason I like the Miz is because I like his wife. Um, but I thought it was an excellent promo. I thought it was an excellent segment in the show, and I got all of my hopes going towards Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, so you might be okay. So you do want him to pull it off and stay in WWE when the
Definitely.
okay.
I feel
Well,
like I feel like he's been an underused talent. He's more like Cody Rhodes.
mhm.
Cody Rhodes comes from Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes, huge name in WWE or World Wrestling Federation or whatever you want to call it. Back then it was called, I think, WWF. So, um, he's been underused. Now Dolph Ziggler has been underused. I think the best time that he was used was when he had Biggie and AJ Lee, when he cashed in the Money in the Bank contract and beat Dolph Ziggler. I mean, well, and beat Dolph Ziggler and beat Alberto Del Rio, and I think he got the was it World Heavyweight Championship,
Mhm.
I do believe.
Yes.
That was one of the best moments that he has that I've seen him have. I was rooting for him. I was, jumping up and down. Oh my God, is this really happening? Is this really happening? I felt like I was in the crowd myself. I wasn't, but it's just that emotion that he brings. You could tell he's really passionate about what he does. He's just underused. So I really want him to win.
All right. Well, I think it is next week already. Next week will be predictions episode. I think that Sunday is the
Yep.
pay-per-view. So next week we'll be getting our official predictions for WWE. No Mercy, and our first battle. Since I now actually have a co-host, our
Um,
first battle here on the show um, of superior dominance in predicting a determined sport. But still, it's enjoyable. I mean, looking forward to it, and definitely join us. We'll be trying our best to live tweet during WWE No Mercy, and
um,
join in the conversation, as I always say, join in the conversation, talking WWE, talking No Mercy as it happens, because I'm sure Mark and I will have a lot to say with how the matches go down,
definitely.
um, and not just with the finishes, but even while they're going down as well. Because I know there's a lot of things going down with Clash Champions. Well, No Mercy is going to be tenfold better, and looking forward to seeing how that is. Is there any other WWE news or SmackDown Live stuff that you wanted to bring to the table before we leave for the evening?
Well, there's been a lot of rumors swirling around that I know I brought this up earlier in the show that TNA wrestlers may come to WWE because TNA may cancel the next pay per view. If you watch TNA, the recent pay per view that's coming up is Bound for Glory 2016. Rumor has it, I watch a lot of YouTubers. Um, I'm not gonna say who because sometimes people may not like them, and I've actually witnessed that.
Same here.
It says from YouTubers that I watch, it says that they may cancel that Bound for Glory show because of their financial issues. Which means, does that give WWE the chance to buy it out the same way they did with WCW? Or I mean, I just don't know what they're gonna do with it. They could do anything, and it still be. big, but it's just, are they gonna just let them just, I don't know, are they gonna let them just die out, or are they gonna buy them out and just do whatever they want with them? What do you think about
I think for that, I think that if it comes to that, I think Vince McMahon W will actually buy them out. I know we were talking about earlier about the negotiation and stuff like that when was
it?
giving my opinion then, but in that situation, yeah, I was hearing about that, watching some YouTubers, maybe the same ones,
Yeah,
talking about it. That
Sean's
you know
views.
that yeah, and there's another guy as well actually was talking about it.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, for those individuals, um, and for my thinking that okay, if they're not able to have their pay-per-view, maybe Vince McMahon will want to be that shark that smells the blood even more. It's
Hmm.
shark infested water, so to speak, and WWE is circling around TNA and them, the dying company, so to speak, and
Hmm.
just want to take it. Like I said, the main thing to me that Vince McMahon will want from TNA is not their superstars, not their talent, but their video library for the superstars that he has in his company, as we
Hmm.
listed earlier. To have that for video packages when they go into the Hall of Fame many years in the future, stuff like
Hmm.
that. The forward thinking you have to have as a businessman for those superstars. So I think that's could be what happens to me. It might even give Vince more of a reasoning to now even want to bid higher or give more of a vested interest to want to buy TNA if that is the case. That's gonna be very interesting. I know, yeah, I've read about it,
Definitely.
watched it on YouTube, and heard about it, and it could be interesting seeing how that happens and how and if even Bound for Glory happens.
Mm. I can see why nobody likes Vince now. Yes, like I said, I'm really interested to see how they're going to do things. They do ended up buying uh TNA, or you know doing the same thing that they did with WCW. I prefer them not to do that. I prefer them, if TNA does end up just dying out, they have too many financial problems. I prefer them bring over some of the TNA superstars, Brother Nero, aka Jeff Hardy. Um, I have Matt Hardy, Bobby Lashley. They have all those big guys.
Hmm.
Maybe even bring, maybe just bring some of the female talent. They still have Gail Kim there. Uh, bring them over during the Royal Rumble. I prefer that. Bring Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Bobby Lashley over to the Royal Rumble. James Storm, bring them all over to the Royal Rumble. That will definitely bring viewership up. You know, may not bring it up a lot, but it's going to be interesting to see what would happen
Hmm.
now that WWE has all those big name TNA stars on their roster, on their business, because everybody's going to be watching it. So I'm just a little curious to see how they're going to do things and when, or what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was thinking in that way actually 100% as well, especially with if they do that, bring the TNA superstars or just any of them to WWE, have them be special entrants in the Royal Rumble. I mean, that's the best, smartest, easiest, to be quite honest, in booking wise, easiest way
Mm,
to introduce them to the WWE audience, have them debuting, um, being a surprise, and entering the Royal Rumble. I would just think of the ovation you get if you get a Matt Hardy, returning
definitely.
WWE at the Royal Rumble at entrant number 7 or something, and
Yeah.
having that kind of craziness. Or that's why I think we're gonna have a handful of superstars making the return there. Uh, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, maybe even EC3,
Oh, if EC3 comes,
Bobby Lashley, and then the number one for me, the number one would be Kurt Angle. To have Kurt Angle come back
yeah,
and Kurt Angle be a special entrant in the Royal Rumble. So definitely would look forward to that for sure.
they have a lot of talent and they can't underuse them like they do with Dolph Ziggler, because first of all, there's nowhere else to go. Just recently, Damian Sandow, now Aaron Rex in TNA, just left WWE. Now he's in TNA. It's a good chance he may be coming back to WWE, or may he just go indie and not wrestle in either one of them. But I'm really, really, really interested to see what they're going to do. TNA is going through some bad stuff right now. And if WWE jumps in, then it's a good chance we may see some people at Royal Rumble. So yeah.
Any last words, last topics?
No, man, that's it. That's definitely it.
No,
That's
it's,
I've been thinking about that the whole day.
no, I know. It's been an interesting week of WWE. Not too much in the news front, as we did
Yeah.
bring a couple here to the table. Um, I think well, I don't know, depending. Maybe next week on Talking WWE with Jay on our SmackDown Live review, or on one of the or a Thursday episode, we'll have my new co-host over there
Mm.
with Jay and the guys there. But for here, I guess I'll let you again promote yourself, your Twitter handle, and other stuff where people can find you.
Okay. Well, like so, you Mark Rambo, RAMARKRAMBO. My IG, my Instagram is Mark underscore Rambo 39. My Instagram, sorry. My Instagram is Mark underscore Rambo 39. My Twitter is Looney Tunes 163. If you guys have any reaction requests, any things you want to talk about on WWE that you want me to make a video about, if you want me to go live on you now, it just does not matter. If you guys want me to do anything, just hit me up on there, hit me up on the comments on my videos, and tell me how you guys think, and I'll do my best to do whatever I can to satisfy you guys.
Okay, sounds good. Welcome to follow me on Twitter at WWE underscore podcast. Again, follow him on Twitter at Looney Tunes 163. We will both be live tweeting during WWE New Mercy, and next week we will have our predictions, our first battle here on this show. Um, well, first real battle with host and co-host. Last a couple weeks ago we had or last week we had the battle with for Raw's pay-per-view Clash of Champions with Michael, March and Mikey. Um, but uh,
Mm,
but here with our third member of our crew
lit.
here, and we're gonna have a good things going on, and hopefully bigger and better episodes and shows. Maybe even adding some segments. We have a new co-host now. We have another person with hearing somebody else's thoughts on things, not hearing myself
Mm,
and my own voice for people. I think hopefully spread the word, let everybody know, friends, family, other WWE fans out there that of this show, because now we have a team. Now we have other ideas.
lit.
Yeah, other ideas coming to the forefront, not just my own. Mark getting his thoughts out there too. And sky's the limit here, just like sky's the limits over there at Mark Rambo TV and here on YouTube. So thanks everybody watching live, those that joined in the chat room, and those that will be watching archive. Have a great rest of your week. We can coming up tomorrow. I probably will be doing my Scream Queens review for this week,
Lit.
and actually I might even be doing one other video as well tomorrow. Uh, but we'll see how scheduling goes with my situation here. And
Mm,
we'll talk to you guys. If not, then the next time you will hear me is Tuesday evening talking Packers with Steve, NFL going into week 5. The Packers were on a bye week this week, so they don't play on Sunday. Next week, home game against the New York football Giants in
mm.
Lambeau Field. So everybody have a great weekend. And as always,
And
take
oh,
care.
can I say one thing?
Okay, go ahead.
For those who are subscribed to me on my channel, I understand that I have not had my SmackDown live reactions up. I had a temporary mishap according to my Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, you guys know now it's up. I will promise you, I will have those videos uploaded by tomorrow. I will have reaction videos. I have videos related to WWE. I have those all up by tomorrow. If I do not, okay, you guys could fry me. You guys could roast me on my social media. I mean, I don't know. I'm, if I don't have it by tomorrow, I promise you guys, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. But I will have those up tomorrow, and just be patient with
And to the subscribers of his over there, I'll be the first one to be on his ass if he doesn't have it.
me.
But I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll have it on time as he always does. That's what I was wondering because we were talking about the Miz and Dolph Ziggler, and earlier today I go over to your channel to see if they're up, for reaction. I'm like, oh, where's
Yeah,
SmackDown Live? So
yeah. It just For some reason, the Wi-Fi, call it Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi does not work just right when I want to upload it. So
And I was
I have it on my camera, I have it on my computer. I'm gonna have those uploaded by tomorrow. Maybe midday, probably late tomorrow night. I'm gonna have a couple of reaction videos. It's gonna be all uploaded. Probably gonna have about 5 or 6 videos uploaded tomorrow. And from there, we're just gonna keep taking off, keep doing these lit podcasts. We're gonna keep doing as many good things as possible. NWO crew, we're here. Um, and then
Yeah, and also to all his subscribers over there, you're welcome to come over here and subscribe if you wish to. All 1K of you, if you wish. You don't have to, but you're welcome to, because
do
because your boy Mark is over here with Steve's Wrestling Ramble, and knowing Mark, he can ramble about anything. So
it.
definitely want to watch each and every week to see what's on his mind. So again, like I said, everybody take care, have a great weekend, and as stay safe.